Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here on a milestone day for our franchise and for women's basketball in Canada. I'm Monica Wright-Rogers, the general manager of the Toronto Tempo, and it's a privilege to welcome you here today. It feels like just yesterday, Teresa Resch stood at the podium to announce my appointment as the Tempo's general manager. Since that day in February, it's fair to say we've been busy. Our ownership group, led by Judy and Larry Tannenbaum, who are here today, has grown to include sports and entertainment powerhouses like Sukhinder Singh Cassidy, Lily Singh, Jeff Molson, and France Margaret Belanger, and of course, the GOAT, Serena Williams. We are honored to have the best owners in the league, who are not only invested, but engaged in all aspects of making the Tempo a premier franchise. From the bottom of our hearts, we want to say thank you. We are also honored to have with us today the Deputy Mayor, Asma Malik. Thank you for being here today and for working in partnership with us to bring the Performance Center to life. More details to come on that at a future date. Lastly, I want to thank our friends at Kilmer and, from the bottom of my heart, the Tempo team. We would have not gotten to this spot without your help. So in partnership with our founding partners, Sephora and CIBC, we connect with fans in person for the first time through Tempo Live at events in Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. And we announced that regular season games next year will take place in Vancouver and Montreal, in addition to Toronto, reinforcing our commitment to being Canada's team. And my team has grown. I'm so thrilled to have Eli Horowitz on board as our Assistant General Manager and Senior Vice President of Basketball Strategy. He's been an invaluable partner in helping me build the foundation for this incredible team, including in search of our head coach. A head coach is the cornerstone of any franchise. They don't just call plays, they set the tone for how we compete, how we connect, how we carry ourselves on and off the court. The head coach, especially for a brand new team, is the person who turns vision into reality and potential into performance. As we began our hunt, we knew we were looking for a bit of a unicorn. We needed someone who shared our vision to build a world-class franchise that competes at the highest level, someone who could develop talent, create identity, and compete from day one. We needed someone who shared our commitment to excellence and our passion for people. Someone with a global perspective, but a community mindset. Someone who understands the responsibility we carry as a new franchise in a country with a rising generation who deserve to see what is possible. Of course, as you all know, we found that and more. And it is my great honor to introduce the first head coach in Toronto Tempo history, Sandy Brondello. Before I pass her the mic, I just want to make a couple of notes because in no way does Sandy need an introduction. But let me say this. Sandy is a builder, she is a teacher, she is a winner. As a player and a coach, she has excelled on the biggest stages in our sport, including bringing home 2 WNBA championships as a head coach. Yet she leads with humility, clarity, and care. Qualities that elevate an entire organization from rookies to veterans, from locker room to the front office. The Tempo is about more than pace of play. It's a mindset, bold, intelligent, and unrelenting. And no one embodies that mindset better than Sandy. Coach, welcome to the Tempo. The mic is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Monica. So great to be here. This is a little overwhelming, to be quite honest. I've been doing this for such a long time, and I don't get very nervous, but I'm feeling a little bit nervous now. But look, first of all, thank you for the kind words. This is the place I wanted to be, and the moment I first spoke with Monica and flew in and met Teresa and Larry, I was just sold on the vision that they have for this franchise, and to be now to do something, to build a team from the ground up, that really excited me. As Monica said, I've won 2 championships. I've been to the playoffs every single year, so there's no pressure coming into this new season. But that really excites me, the challenge that we have ahead of us, and to do it in another country really excites me. I mean, the team is the Toronto Tempo, but I know it's going to be a Canadian team. And obviously I am from Australia, so we're both from the Commonwealth. And Australians and Canadians, what I do know, they have so much passion for sport, and I know that they're going to really support us. So my goal as a coach is obviously with Monica and Eli in the front office is put the best team together and put a product out there that everyone can be very proud of, how we represent, obviously the community and all of Canada. And we're also playing for that next generation as well. It really, truly is a great honour for me to be standing here and being named as the first head coach of the Toronto Tempo. It's something, I'm so excited. The moment I agreed to become the new head coach is, wow, okay, let's do this. And it was more than just, obviously, the opportunity. It's about working with the people. I think I work best when I'm in a partnership, and just the collaboration that I've had with the front office already has been really special for me, and I can't wait to get to work. Look, I don't want to keep rambling here. I know people are going to have a lot of questions that we'd love to answer here soon. But to the media, thank you. This is very impressive. I feel like I've just come from a very big market in New York. And I must say, I think there's more people here than in New York. So well done, Toronto, yes. Yeah, I love that. So look, what you see is what you get. I'm very authentic, and I'm going to work really hard and put the best product out there, but I also want to build relationships and strong relationships. And the media is so important for us as we continue to grow this team, starting as an expansion team. And I love this. So I may not know all your names now, but I hope to as the season progresses and we lead into this new year. So thank you. Thank you for coming today, and we'll gladly answer any questions that you have.
Okay, we're going to open the floor up to questions. So please put your hand up and then introduce yourself and say which outlet you are with before you ask your question.
Hey, Miles Dichter, CBC Sports. Welcome to Toronto, Sandy, and congratulations. Just taking over an expansion team, why was now the time for you to take on that challenge, and what excites you about sort of starting with a blank slate?
Yeah, I think you just said that. I had a few options there, but in the end, I was really intrigued about starting from the very beginning and building something with really good people, and in a different country. This is Canada's team, and I thought that would be very exciting, and I'm up for every challenge. I've like you said, I've won a few championships there, but I think. This is just a little different situation. Obviously, a lot of the players now are free agents. Yes, we'll be an expansion team, but hopefully summer in Toronto is pretty special, I hear. So hopefully we can get some pretty special players to represent, obviously the Tempo.
Welcome to Toronto.
Thank you.
Savannah Hamilton, under Glory Media, Cinderella Stories. This is kind of an interesting situation because there's going to be 2 expansion teams opening up in 2026. How does that maybe change your approach or alter your approach in terms of how you go about, creating your roster, creating the culture of what's going to set the tempo for the rest of the franchise?
Yeah, and that's so important. It is. So there's 2 teams. There's 2 expansion teams at the moment, obviously. And one of the very big reasons, Larry, great ownership, but also leadership. But Monica being a former player and the relationship that we've built just over a short period of time is special for me. And with Eli, she's spoken about that, and the other front office, the staff that she's building out, we'll be very intentional about our work and our preparation. Yes, the expansion is there, but there's also with the CBA, there's a lot of free agents as well, and that's exciting. So we have an opportunity to, bring in the right players, and we're excited about that. And You talked about culture. That's the most important thing is when you're starting any kind of franchise. And for me, starting any kind of position, culture is so important for me. And really, it's the number one things. Before X's and O's, you got to sell the vision of, what kind of legacy do we want to leave behind? Bringing in, it's not just bringing in talented players, but we want to bring players in with high character that represents obviously the city and obviously the country in the right manner. And we play, hopefully we can bring a lot of fun to the fans as well. So I'm excited to build out this team with obviously this will be a lot on her too to help bring that, and but excited to work with partnership with Monica and Eli.
Hi, Sandy. Congratulations and welcome, Josh Lewinberg, TSN. You just talked about culture as the head coach and one of the architects in building out this team. What are you hoping that culture, or maybe identity is another way to put it, what are you hoping that the identity of this team ends up looking like, both on the court and off the court?
Yeah, look, I think culture now is such it is a bit of a buzzword, isn't it? And it's something that I think it's so important for any team, regardless of whether it's an expansion team or an established team. But the culture, for me, it's not my culture, it's not Monica's culture. Obviously, we have a vision of what our identity should look like. But when we have players, which we don't have at the moment, we want to have a culture that it's the players' culture. What kind of legacy do they want to leave behind? But what are the values we want to live by? Because once we have that culture in play, it allows us, to have accountability and support and make sure that, we're growing this franchise in the right way.
Sandy, it's Doug Smith of the Toronto Star. Very nice to meet you.
You too.
How would you describe yourself as a coach? Well, what kind of coach are you?
A pretty good one, I think. Look, I've had so many different experiences with some of the best players in the world, and look, I'm continually someone that wants to keep learning, and I've learned a lot from those players. But being a former player, I think that's kind of helped me. People talk about it, I'm a player's coach, I suppose, if you want to say it in that regard. I understand what the players are going through, so I think that gives me an insight, but I also know how to get the best out of them and how to build, chemistry, because it's a team game. It's not an individual game. So to have the best chance of success is, bringing in, obviously you need talent to win, but a cohesive unit and that can play together. And look, I think I'm a very, I want to play a fun style. Everyone talks about pace and space and all that kind of stuff. But in the end, we don't have players yet, but I want to put the players in the best spot so that they can have success. And what's that look like? You have to adapt to the different situations and the different teams. You have to be flexible. So there's no set style of how we want to play. We want to play entertaining basketball. We want to play great team basketball and be tough. But we also have to be adaptable for the moment.
Hey, Sandy. Welcome to Toronto. This is Richard Deitch from The Athletic. This is actually for both of you. I wonder, in terms of as much as you want to share, can you take us through the timeline in terms of when you contacted Sandy and just how it came about? Because, as she said, there were other franchises interested in her.
Yeah, sure. I'll definitely take this one. Good to see you, Richard. Thank you for the question. So I had commenced my head coaching search in mid-July. And had done, casted a really wide net, and really was focused on having a head coach that, number one, would attract free agents, right? That would allow us to take advantage of the space that we're in right now as a franchise. Number two, WNBA experience was something that I just, I couldn't shake that feeling to want someone that knows this league, that wouldn't have a huge learning curve. Especially with us being a expansion franchise in a new country. And so as I went through that search, I really, got to a final list, and then something happened in New York, and we were able to have a crack at one of the best coaches in WNBA history, and I took a swing and definitely knew that there would be other teams. Obviously, you would be unwise to not try and land her. And, again, with the ownership group that we have, with the leadership group that we have, we just put our best foot forward and we were ourselves. And I think being ourselves, that aligned with Sandy's core values and just made a perfect fit.
Hey, Lindsay Dunn, City News, Toronto. Sandy, this is for you. What is your first order of business, and have you had conversations with potential coaching staff?
Not really, but I will. That's the next on the agenda here to get through. Obviously, making this officially official, and moving forward to the next stage, and then starting the strategy of what kind of players we think we can bring in. But the coaching staff is next on my list here, and I want to bring a coaching staff that can complement me, and so I'm excited to build out that and give the players the best coaches that they can be, so that we can help them achieve all their individual, not just our team goals, but their individual goals as well.
Sandy, congratulations. Welcome to Toronto. Shireen Ahmed, CBC Sports. You've said a couple times already that you don't have any players, but as a player's coach, you're self-defined, and people and players in leadership like Natasha Cloud has gone on record to say she has your back, you have theirs. Have there been any text exchanges, messages maybe from you or for others? Can you say?
Yeah, look, I have great relationships with, players I've, recently coached or former players that I have coached. And I think that's important for me. And, in my leadership, the relationships really is the most critical. And I talk about culture, but it's getting to know these players, and they're not just basketball players, they're human beings, because that's my goal too. I want them to be, if they're being coached by me, they're going to go away being better people. They're going to feel that, a coach that has their back and that supports them, but also pushes them for greatness. We strive for excellence every single day we get on the court. And I know I'm not perfect, but I'm striving to be better and continue to learn. But the players, in terms of texting, of course, I've had a lot of text messages of, congratulating me, and they think that's great. But I haven't spoken to any about tempo, and I'm certainly not allowed to be doing that anyway.
And I just want to add that we actually are the only franchise with former WNBA players in the head coach and general manager positions. And I think that just shines through in how we want to approach this team, and the approach we take in player quality of care and their experience here with the tempo. So just want to make sure I noted that.
Hi, Sandy. Alex Kieran-Celebrate from TSN The Shift. I'm curious, your first impressions of Toronto. Obviously, we love our sports here. We love our women's sports here. So what are you excited about in Toronto and your first impressions of the city?
Yeah, I think all of that. I've asked around about people that had visited Toronto, and I haven't been here for too many days, but what I have seen, very vibrant. I love that they love their sport, and it'd be amiss of me not to congratulate the Toronto Blue Jays and their historic run and the accomplishment, but just to see the passion of the fans and the city and the support that they give their teams, I think that's great, and it's fun to be a part of. And it's great that you said that they support women's sport, because that's so big, that's dear to my heart. I've been I've been a professional athlete from the age of 17. I retired at 36, and I've been coaching ever since then. So 21 years, so you know how old I am now. But it's been, it doesn't even feel like a job, because it's been a passion my whole life. So I just love that where the WNBA is at right now, and all women's sport, that we're finally getting the support and the respect that we deserve. So, and it's fun to be a part of that.
Hi, Sandy. Mercedes Gastambide from CBC News Toronto. As we heard from Monica there, it seems like there was a bit of competition maybe for you. Why Toronto? Why did you choose this city?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of alignment. But in the end, it was more about the partnership. And obviously Monica was my first point of contact there. And I knew Monica, not really well. It's like we have a mutual best friend, and that connection certainly helped. But I knew of her, just the kind of person that she is, and how she goes about her day to day, and that was important for me. I thought there was a lot of alignment there, and feeling comfortable in this next opportunity that I was going to take. And That was the partnership, the collaboration that we all talked about, and the vision of this franchise. I think it just felt right. And obviously, I met Larry, and it was an amazing experience because I've heard about Larry and the great things that he's done, not just in Canada but in sport all around the world, and a committed and invested owner. I think that's great because it's a big sport now, and it really does start at the top. So Larry, I really appreciate taking over this franchise or getting the license and what we can grow together. I think it's fun, and like I said, it's a Canadian team too, and basketball in Canada continues to get bigger and better. And I also coach Australia, so we beat them in the bronze medal game in 2022. Sorry. We played them last year in Paris, but we've got some really talented players as well too. But it was more, and then being an expansion, it was just felt right that the opportunity to do something from the very beginning and to build a team, but to build a culture and also to build a legacy. I think that really intrigued me. But in the end, it was about the people too that I felt that I could go to work with every single day and know I'd enjoy the journey, because it is hard. But you have to embrace hard, and we strive for excellence every single day.
Hello, Ashley Docking, Glory Media and Cinderella Stories. We kind of heard Monica's timeline on how things came to be from your standpoint. When you found out you were not going to be back with the Liberty, how many suitors did you have? What kind of conversations maybe with other organizations, if you can share with us? And then touch pointing on the legacy comment, what do you hope to be known for when all is said and done?
Yeah, I think the legacy component is to, be a high-performing team and be a world-class franchise. I think that's the legacy, and, hopefully bring championships. And I've won 2. It'd be great to win the third one with the 3 different, organisations. I think that's the goal. But we want to do it in the right way. We want to make sure we come into work and getting better every single day. Obviously I had a few interested teams out there, and I was just lucky, I suppose. There were some openings, and I went through the process. I took my time with that, and because I wanted it to be the right fit, and and I believe I've made that right decision, and can't wait to get to work.
Hi, Sandy. Welcome to Toronto. Jaden Lee Lincoln with Global News. Obviously, at this point, you've heard Toronto has some really excited fans, some really dedicated fans. What kind of interaction are you expecting to have with those fans, and what are you excited about most coming to Toronto and exploring Canada? Yeah,
I probably should have answered that before, but I've heard a lot about the restaurants. When I came up here for my visit, Teresa and Monica took me to 2 great restaurants, but that's all they talk about. It's a very diverse community. I really enjoy that aspect of it. The fans are very passionate. It just reminds me of Australian fans, but they're very loyal too. I mean, they're always going to back you through the highs and the lows, and I think that's important, in sport, because it's the hardest thing to do is to win. And trust me, because I've just been there. So I won a championship. It's hard to repeat, but it's more about, building a team in the right way and staying true to who you are, but making sure that you're adaptable in your approach to get the best out of not just yourself, but also out of your team. But I'm excited. The fans.
Hi, thanks. Hi, Sandy. Welcome to Toronto. I'm Catherine from The Pickup. I remember Cheryl Reeve was talking about how one of these new teams is going to be gifted a championship level coach, and Becky Hammond was really outspoken in her support for you. And I was just wondering, what was it like to have that outspoken support on your journey towards here?
Yeah, no, obviously all that matters. I think while we compete against each other, and we have for many, many years, there's a mutual respect for what we do and appreciation for how hard our job is, and I think that goes a long way, and that's really important for me. Is I want to be the best coach I can be, and I'm going to continue to learn and evolve to be that. But to have the support, obviously, of coaches in this league, that goes a long way as well.
Hi, Sandy. Welcome to Toronto. Congratulations. I'm Ian Finlayson with Raptors Republic. How do you think that this experience, obviously you still have to assemble a roster, but aside from that, how do you think it will be different than your previous challenges, coaching in the WNBA?
Yeah, I mean, different because it is an expansion team. and not having, any players. But that's also exciting because now you can build from the ground up, and you can bring, the players in that will think that will, represent this city and this team in the right way, and enable us to be the best, the highest performing team that we can. I mean, the goal is to bring a championship to Toronto. That hasn't changed. My narrative hasn't changed. I like winning. It's fun, but I also know it's hard, and we'll go to work about starting from the ground up and building the right culture and adding the right players and making sure that we continue to work together so we can put the best product out on the floor.
Hi, thanks for being here. Kai Gamage from Sportsnet. This one's mostly for Monica. With such a sense of novelty and newness and freshness around the tempo, how important was it to bring in probably the most experienced coach on the free agent market?
I think you just said it. Thanks for the question. Spot on. I mean, I think bringing familiarity to this team, this country, by bringing WNBA greats and in all aspects. And so we're thinking the same, we're on the same page right here. And appreciate the call out. One thing I do want to just note is that, Toronto as a city is a great city for a sports team. And I think for players that have been here, they speak volumes to how the city embraces them, how them and their families have been able to just, be embraced and go about their daily lives and have quality of life here. And so that's one thing I know our players will appreciate when they touch down in the city. And again, just with, our strategy around building the staff, that number one are great people, but that our players know, care about their careers and their longevity, care about the quality of care for them and their families. All those things are part of the vision and the culture that we're trying to build here with the tempo.
Okay, after this question, we're going to take two more, and then we're going to have a photo op, and then we will move towards the back for a scrum. So there'll be more opportunity to ask questions in a few minutes.
G. Ganesh from The Score. Welcome to Toronto, Sandy. During your rookie year, you played for Nancy Lieberman. I'm just kind of curious if playing for her kind of maybe influenced your coaching style down the line.
Yeah, the great Nancy Lieberman. It was I was drafted in the fourth round in 1998. Such a long time ago, but was Nancy was great. Great for me. Was a great coach. She kind of gave me the keys to run the team, and I had 2 really successful years in Detroit. But I think for me, I've been coached by so many wonderful coaches, and it's more about you take a little bit from each of them, but in the end, you've got to fit it to your personality. I've played the game for such a long time. I've learned a lot over the years from maybe those coaches, but also I've learned a lot from being a head coach, and that's a really fun part of the journey. And continue learning. Watching the NBA, and we're always stealing ideas. It's not always just our ideas. We like to steal ideas and then implement them, and we think that could be effective in the WNBA as well. And but yeah, Nancy, she was a trailblazer.
Hi, Sandy. Welcome to Toronto. Chelsea Late from the 9 Sports. When I talked to Monica a few months ago about who she was looking for in a head coach, she told me that she wanted someone who was an ambassador to kind of bridge the gap between Canada and kind of the WNBA community. As someone who's played in the United States, Australia, in Europe, what from your experience are you going to bring to really be an ambassador for a new country welcoming the WNBA into the sports community?
Yeah, I think, number one, my experience. I've been, WNBA is 30 years young next year, and I've been in the league 27 of those years. So I've seen, as a player, perspective as a player, as assistant coach and as a head coach, and the evolution of the game. And I think just really my experience, that's what I'm going to bring. And I am Australian, so, we're part of the Commonwealth. I like to put that out there. And, it's a very international team. And I've had experiences coaching all around the world and also coaching my national team. So I know what it's like to go to a different country and then, and have success there. But I think, being an ambassador, I take that very seriously because my goal is to continue to promote not obviously the Toronto tempo, but also the WNBA. because basketball truly is a global game, and I hope that we can gain more and more fans.
Hi, welcome to Toronto, Sandy. Ainka Jess from She's for Sports Media. Monica had mentioned a little bit earlier about the CBA, and we know negotiations are ongoing. What's the process to sort of move forward when that's happening, sort of in the backdrop? And maybe touch a little bit on the challenges or maybe an opportunity at this time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I can't really talk about the CBA at the moment here, but look, I think now I'm just excited to get with Monica, Eli, and their group and start strategizing of what this team really could look like. And that's fun. That's fun projects and, you know, who's available, you know, which direction we want to go. And it will be a collaboration. It's not, and that's what really excites me. So, you know, hopefully we can start moving forward, but there's still work to be done in the trenches and making sure once that, you know, we're allowed to move forward and signing players that we're ready to go.